I can fix that after.
Okay. Let's see it. All right, we live. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wealth Building Wednesday. We got to get us some theme music or something for this Wealth Building Wednesday. Are we live on Instagram yet? Are you live?
Not yet.
No. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going live on Instagram now. Just give us a second. We always having some kind of technical difficulties. I don't know what it is.
Don't say that. We are technical geniuses.
Absolutely.
Remember Rich Carpenter used to say that? I am a technical genius.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, geniuses have problems too. So, okay.
I guess so. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day is how we usually say Happy Hump Day. Mm-hmm. How was your day today?
It was pretty good. It was kind of long. Worked with a couple of buyers today. So, it was interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, did a couple of walkthroughs. Got a buyer that's about to break. They just started breaking ground on their new property, new home orientation. So it was a good day.
Okay.
It was a good day.
So they're, you said they did their home orientation today.
Yes, they had the home orientation, just kind of like a walkthrough of the new home, seeing all of the features because it's a smart home. So there's a couple of like different electronic items, internet items that they had to walk through to try to understand how the home works. It comes with a Ring doorbell and internet throughout the entire house. So it was pretty interesting. Yep.
Very cool. Well, that was your day. My day was meetings and
Zoom calls,
and all of that. And just to get a little personal here, I'm starting a little fitness journey.
Okay.
And I decided I'm going to give Damika a shout out. Hey, Molly.
Okay, we got Molly on here.
I'm going to give Damika Page a shout out because she's going to help me get absolutely fabulous in 4 weeks. Because I can't do it myself. I've realized that. I've taken ownership, and certain things you need a coach, and Damika is going to help me do that. She's a fitness coach. Mm-hmm. So I was getting a couple of things straight with her on that today.
All right. That sounds pretty good. Well, accountability is definitely a key, and that works in every area of life, not just in fitness, but even in our topic of tonight. How do you come back from a setback? Because a lot of things, kind of set us back from reaching the goals and attaining the things that you look to attain.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So if this is your first time joining us, just know that every Wednesday we come in and talk about topics that is relatable to success, real estate, just wealth building, a journey to wealth building. We've talked about so many things so far, which was great. We've talked about PPP loans. We've talked about entrepreneurship, how to get into how to buy your first home, certain things we've touched on, and we've gotten great feedback that people love to hear the conversation. This is interactive, so we are live. So if there's a comment that you want to make, we can see it live, which is pretty cool. So you can make your comment, ask your questions, and we're going to get right into it. Also, just letting you know this, tonight is pretty personal to us. It, basically talks about our journey.
A little bit of our life struggle.
A little our life struggle, as Curtis puts it. And it's how to come back from a setback. How do you come back? Because I posted early on one of my my Instagram story this week that, if you did it once, you can do it again. Mm-hmm. Okay. It is repeatable. Okay, so success is definitely repeatable. So you can do it again. So we urge you, if you've done it once, to do it again. And if you haven't done it once, but know someone who has, you can then learn from them.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's jump right into it.
Okay. All right. Well, what were some of the setbacks?
Yeah, our first step is
I,
identifying the setback.
that is the truth.
Oh
Sometimes
my
you don't even
gosh.
sometimes you don't even know that you're being set back.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Yeah. If we go back to 2006,
Hmm.
where life was good.
Yeah.
We purchased a house down here in Florida, and life was good. And we had Curtis definitely had a thriving business in New York. I had my profession, but at the time I was home with the kids. But we did not see any lack in our future. We had a good amount of money in savings,
Hmm.
but we also took some of that money to purchase a home.
Hmm.
So, a setback, one of our biggest setbacks, I feel happened when the market turned.
Right, but we didn't even well, or
You didn't.
I didn't because I kind of took full responsibility of that at that time because it was just like everything was happening so fast. We moved to Florida, we were doing well, uh, had financial stability, and we were invested in the stock market. We were invested in homes. We had two properties. We had the property in New York, two properties in New York. We had the house here in Florida that we ended up foreclosing on the house here in Florida because the
Mhm.
bank wouldn't even. We had a buyer for our house, and the bank wouldn't even take our house back from us. We tried to work out a deal with them, and it was definitely
We hired a lawyer. We
yeah,
hired
we
an
hired we
attorney.
hired an attorney. I mean, it was a lot of steps that were taken in that setback, and the reason, and that's kind of the reason why we wanted to discuss tonight's topic because we have been set back, and we thank God that we've grown from that. We learned from it, but and that's the thing. It was kind of like another thing that you posted today. I'd seen on your Facebook. I haven't had a chance to really be on Facebook that much today, but I did see where you had posted something about that little boy. I think I'd seen the little boy that plays chess or something like
Mhm.
that, and he said he never loses. He or was
He
it
learns,
he
yeah.
learns. He never loses. He only learns. So that's the thing, and that's one of my things is always to try to fall forward. Even though you may be falling, but fall forward, learn from the experience. So.
Absolutely. And boy, we did a lot of learning that we gonna talk about today.
Hmm. Hmm.
Some mistakes that I have to say that I have to look back and say, wow, I didn't see that.
Hmm.
But identify the problem. What was the problem? The problem was
We were
that
well. Our problem at that time was that we were too heavily invested in like one place. We had
in one
all we,
place,
we had all
correct.
we had all of our money in one place, and
All our
and when
eggs
that
were in one basket.
and when that basket collapsed, everything collapsed right with it. So.
That is correct. And then also we had multiple things going on at the time.
Hmm.
So if I could wipe the slate clean and start fresh and really see where all the money was going, I think twice about putting, let's say, $100,000 down on a house.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think about doing that because that was, for me, I think that was a huge mistake at the time.
Oh, that was a super huge mistake at the time
Right.
because we had sold the property that we did have, so
Hmm.
things had worked out well. So we were like, oh man, we could just take that money and throw it into this house, and buy down our mortgage a little bit,
Hmm.
and to keep the payments low. And that was not a good move because we
Not a
were
good
too
move.
we were too heavily invested in the house. I mean, it pays to get a house and have at least a 3.5. Only put 3.5% down.
Absolutely.
Stick to that 3.5, 5%. Don't
If
don't
you
don't
can.
go higher than 5%.
Well,
Is my
everyone's
suggestion.
situation is different.
That.
Everyone's situation is different.
Hmm.
But now we do find ourselves really trying to inform our clients that, listen, if you can put less down,
Hmm.
put less down, and the payments still stay affordable. Excuse me. Then do that. So we've only because of what we learned, we just tell others the same thing. Now,
Hmm.
your situation may be different.
Hmm.
Your situation is maybe that you don't want any mortgage payment at all. So you want to pay the house cash, which, we say that we're not sure that's a good idea all the time because
No.
you can also file for exemption on
Hmm.
your taxes as well. So, and of course, we're not going to get into that. That's something for a tax attorney to talk about or an accountant to talk about, but just letting you know that we advise against it because of what we've been through.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, we're basically, I mean, we're touching on a lot of topics that we've experienced over the years.
right. So, what would you say affected our finances?
Affected our finances. The market really affected our finances at that time.
Which market?
The real estate market was a big factor. The
Correct.
stock market was a big factor back in
Correct.
2008 because I
Mhm.
mean it was all tied together.
Correct.
Pretty much everything was all tied into that one.
Absolutely. So, very true. So, the housing market and the real estate market. The housing market came crashing. It
Hmm.
was doing so well at first, and not well in the sense that it's doing now. Like,
Hmm.
it was skyrocket crazy back then. I mean, it was just nuts. But we knew there was a sign. There were signs there that we didn't pay attention to.
Hmm.
And one of those signs was when the guy that was selling the house, he basically said, "Oh, I just reduced it like $100,000." Like, who does that? Like, who
Hmm.
reduces their house $100,000? So
Hmm.
we're like, "Oh, we're getting a deal."
Right. Well, coming from New
Uh,
York, where prices were very high. I mean, and we didn't educate ourselves enough. I think at that time when we first came down here.
right.
We just kind of looked at the market, looked at everything. I mean, they were selling, in the community where we were, they were selling dirt for 150,000 when we first seen it.
But
You
not
know,
only did we not educate ourselves,
hmm
we did not have a realtor when we came down.
that is the truth. Oh man, I did not even think about that. That is the truth. We did not have a realtor when we came down
And
here
I had been a realtor
in New
in
York.
New York for a little while before,
Hmm.
and not thinking, now I think about it today, I'm like,
Yeah.
well, why wouldn't I have a realtor representing me, or at
Hmm.
least, get a referral or something like that? I didn't even think about it. And it just dawned on me like, my gosh, we didn't even have an expert to guide us along the way to say,
Hmm.
okay, this is normal, this is not normal, don't do this, don't do that. Like, I
Hmm.
see some people right now putting in offers, and I'm like, who is their realtor putting in that offer? Because
No,
that's crazy.
it just doesn't make financial sense. And a lot of these people are going to find out later that some of the decisions that they made, I think, are going to hurt them, honestly. And I hate to see these people get hurt, but you know, $40,000 over asking price.
Share the video. Share
Yeah,
the video. That's
yeah,
all I gotta say.
yeah.
So and help someone today. Help someone, one of your friends or family members.
Hmm.
So, who was a part of our journey?
Um, that's a good question. What do you mean? Um, I
Well, we
wasn't.
darn sure didn't have a realtor
Hmm.
involved.
Okay.
you know, where was it? We didn't have any advisors,
Right.
telling us, well, don't put your money here, put your money here. Um, our relationships were not, I don't feel,
We didn't utilize it. We had great.
we had great relationship.
We
We
had. I
didn't
was gonna say
utilize it,
we
right?
didn't utilize it. I guess
Yeah.
we just figured
We
we
knew it
kind.
all.
I guess. I guess we did. Now that you say that, it seems like we
This
kind
is an
of.
eye opening moment, y'all.
It, anyway, it did kind of feel like we knew it all when we came down here because we had done this in New York, and this market here in Florida was totally different. So I guess we didn't, or I didn't take into account, um, you know, the home prices here, what the market was actually doing here. We just came, we seen a house, we liked it, and we got it.
And we acted a lot on, I think, emotions.
Okay, yeah,
and to be honest, we acted a lot on emotions because what we were going through in our marriage at the time. And I feel like, it's very. Our dog is opening the door. If you're wondering, we don't have ghosts or anything. Our dog is opening the
the
door.
dog just came in.
But we acted a lot on emotions too. More of it was an emotional roller coaster, and we did everything super quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't consult with people that we normally probably would have consulted with, like our accountant and other people that
before we made these major financial decisions,
bankers that we knew. We just didn't do it. We just didn't do it. So just to let you know, make sure you use your resources.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is definitely one way to help identify and to take those people on your financial journey. I mean, because the freedom of finance and building wealth and creating it, it's not done alone. I mean, it takes a team. Kind of, it takes a team of people to kind of help educate you, because none of us know it all.
Absolutely.
So,
like Sharonda just said, she said, yes, every state is different. You need knowledge when purchasing and buying a home.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And sometimes, as people that are in the business, we forget that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But you better believe I won't ever make that mistake again.
No. No, those
I will use
mistakes.
a professional in that state. I will ask around. And well, right now we do have professionals all over that we work with. So, I mean, now it's a no brainer. But honestly, we've learned a huge lesson when come to buying in other states.
And then we have another question on Facebook. Lori Decky. She said, "What did you read?" One of the books and stuff that I guess that we read would have been to help us through our financial literacy was definitely Rich Dad Poor Dad was one of the books that helped us, gain that financial literacy. Oh my goodness!
I'm not sure if she's talking about what did you read to get there or what did you read to get through, because what we read to get through was completely different.
I read the Bible.
We turned to TD Jakes.
Who did I lean on when we were going through? It was nothing but the grace of God.
Absolutely. Sometimes the books you read going to ain't the same books you got to read going through.
Yeah. No, it sure wasn't. Wow, that's funny too. That's a funny moment.
Yeah.
That's a good question. That's a good question, Lori. I like that one.
Yep. So how did you end up there? I think we answered that question, just putting too much of our eggs in one basket, not using the right resources, the right people in our lives that was there for us. We just thought we knew it all and we acted hastily and emotional. So we had an emotional journey at the time that maybe knocked our senses a little loose, and we were acting on those emotions. So be very careful. There are times when I'm showing property and there are people that are set on a certain number. They don't want to go over that number. And boom, they see a property that's like, 40,000, 50,000 over their budget. And they're like, you know what? I could work. I'll just have, it can work. I'll just have to do this, and this. And then I have to remind them, you do have a life besides your house, right? So if you can afford to do this, and own a house, then fine, go with it. If it's going to strain you where it causes stress on your marriage or your life, then maybe that's not the house for you, and maybe we need to reassess those numbers. So watch acting on emotions, okay? So I remind clients, I know you remind them that all the time as well. Like, hold up. Yeah, I'm getting paid on commission here, but just one thing, I don't want to have to sell your house in 2 years because you call me and say
you can't afford it.
You can't afford it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So hold on, where were we now?
What steps to take to get back on track? Mm-hmm. So that goes back to what books are we reading to get back on track? Is the Bible.
Yeah. I mean, that was definitely one that we were hugging close to.
Turn to the Lord.
Turn to the Lord.
Yes.
Lean not to your own ways, but to Him. So I'm telling you, that's a moment.
But it's true. It's true. I mean, we were reading. I know I was reading T.D. Jakes. I mean, I probably it'd be funny to see if we could rewind it. Mm-hmm. How when you're going through stuff, like what are you reading to pull you through those times, mm-hmm. and who are you surrounding yourself with, mm-hmm. as well? Because I know at one point too, we started to get heavily in the church, mm-hmm. right? But we were in the church before. Mm-hmm. But it's funny how life will orchestrate. Your life will change, and mm-hmm. your bookshelf will change as life goes along. And then if you get some hurt and pain along the way, that changes too. And mm-hmm. And your relationships change. And then when you come out of the storm, you have to really look back and say, well, who was there with me during that storm, and who's waiting for me as I come out? I think it's very powerful. That's when you really think about, who am I in relationship with? Who am I in relationship? First the Lord, but who else am I in relationship with to help me through this journey?
Yeah. But then there's also the principles that you have to stand on. Uh-huh. There's a lot of financial principles that I think we overlook. I mean, to get back on track, there was some financial principles that we did not adhere to, that we knew, but just didn't adhere to it. Our budgeting, making sure that the return on our investment was at the percentage that we needed it to be. Right. So those are. We
weren't worried about return on investment. We had a beautiful house, and actually, they say your return on investment on your house that you love is your happiness.
Okay.
Right? The return on investment is your happiness.
Well, we were pretty happy at the moment. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, we were definitely happy at that moment.
So return on investment, that wise, mm-hmm. I felt was right, because our move was right.
Okay.
The fact that we moved down here at a time when we should have, that we operated, through listening, it's just when we got here, I think we dropped the ball.
Mm. Okay. I mean, it's a good way to look back at it. I mean, a lot of this isn't what we were.
I know, but when the spirit moves, you got to talk about it. Now, okay. Shawanda says, Carl and I read The Force of Favor by Dr. Dave Martin.
Okay.
Very good.
I don't think I've read that book. So,
awesome. Okay, so let's talk about how we get back on track. Let's mm-hmm. get back on track on this conversation.
Let's get back on track.
Okay. Reducing our expenses.
That was one of the key things, was definitely reducing the expenses. I was thinking about that today as I'm driving in my nice new pretty truck right now. I remember I used to have a truck. I had a Denali back in 2006 to 2008. And then when things started going south, I ended up trading that Denali in and getting the money back for it, and driving a Nissan Versa. Yeah. I was driving a Nissan Versa.
Boy was in a Nissan Versa.
A little blue Nissan Versa. But it was to make that sacrifice. Yes. And that's the other thing. You have to be willing to make certain sacrifices when you're trying to get back on track,
and that was a big sacrifice, because for years, I mean, as long as when I met Curtis, he had a truck. Mm-hmm. So, moving, not having that truck and then having this little small car, we were all in. It was kind of hysterical, but it worked.
Yeah, I can laugh at it now, but it did not feel good at the moment. And that's the thing with with trying to get stability in your life, sometimes you have to do things that you might not feel comfortable with.
Yes.
So you have to make some certain sacrifices and to get yourself back on track.
Yeah,
You
you have
know,
to do the things that others won't in order to
absolutely
be where others
are not.
are not. That's it.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
So,
that's one of the ways we reduce our expenses,
hmm
um, with
cutting the
sacrifices.
cable. I mean, we instead of having HBO and all of the network channels, we
Showtime,
Cinemax
Cinemax.
and everything, HBO Max, and all Disney Channel, Disney Plus, or whatever you have. We cut some of those channels back, and back in that time, we still had DVD players, so it was like, yo, slap in a DVD if you want to watch something. So
That's right. We
so
slapped in a DVD. As a matter of fact, pandemic hit, and I tried to cut
oh yeah, no,
Curtis's cable,
no, we wasn't
and
struggling
it
that
didn't
much then.
last. It didn't
No,
last too long. But my brain went back to,
to
what did we do the last
okay,
time? What did we have to do?
I understand.
Because it's now a memory
Hmm
that that I say to myself, okay, it taught me.
hmm
Okay, so now I knew what to do. The first thing to go to me was cable. We didn't need
Right,
it that bad. We don't hardly watch TV. We don't have the time.
that's true.
So
But I still like to have my cable down. So and thank the Lord I can afford my cable television. So I
yeah,
don't
he
I
could
don't
afford his cable, y'all.
I
He could
don't
have it. He
I
got
don't
it
want to
bad.
I don't want to cut that right now. So but
So another thing we cut back was
vacation.
vacations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we didn't go anywhere for a little while. I mean,
we would
and it
go to.
wasn't because of COVID.
No, no. At that
So
time in 2008, because before that we were traveling everywhere with the kids. We'd
hmm
be going to Mexico, we'd be going, wherever our heart desired. And then when that time hit for us, we just had to chill.
hmm
Have a staycation. Listen, what we doing? We doing right at the house. You got a
hmm
pool in the back. That's what you're gonna swim in. You got a neighborhood pool. That's where we're gonna go.
hmm
You got friends. We're gonna play hopscotch like we did back in the day. In the neighborhood, and
hmm
play with your skateboard and stuff like that.
Yeah, you have
So
to definitely come to grips with your reality.
absolutely,
That's the biggest part of it, is coming to grips with your reality.
yeah. Face the
Face,
fact.
face the fact that things aren't where they are, and if they're not, don't be embarrassed, don't be ashamed of it. Like, just go ahead and do what you got to do to get yourself back on track. I
Right.
think that's one of the biggest key points, because a lot of people let the outside influences influence them,
Like
and they
social
like
media.
social media, things like that. They see people doing stuff on Facebook, and they feel like if they not doing that, they ain't doing nothing, and that's a very bad false sense of reality, because
Yes,
that's
it
not the
is.
reality.
Absolutely. And honestly, job functions and things like that, that could really end you up in a crazy space too. I remember I was watching a TED talk one time, and this lady was talking about that she used to go to job functions, dress up, go to restaurants where everybody would, want to go to the restaurants, chip in. And then one day she turned around and she didn't have any money.
Mm-hmm.
She had no money to call her own. If she got fired tomorrow, she don't know. She did not know where her next paycheck would come from.
Mm-hmm.
So keeping up with job functions and things like that is unnecessary. Who do you have to impress? No one.
That's it.
No
Worry
one
about.
knows what you're doing when you're not there at the job, hanging out, drinking, 5 glasses of wine. No one knows. You could go at home and just drink your wine and be on the phone with a friend of yours, or, have a night out, have a night at home with your partner,
hmm
you know?
Okay.
So,
Spark said, "Do you need a TV in every room?" Nope, you don't need a
no,
TV in every room. Then she said, "Family time, no cost." That I kind of understand exactly where you're coming from.
yeah.
Absolutely, just family time is definitely very important. So
Yeah. It brings you closer too.
It does.
Because
It
when you
can.
don't have a whole lot of money to be doing a whole bunch of extra stuff,
Hmm.
that kind of brings you closer because now you find, look, I mean, let's take an example for when the pandemic hit, no one could go anywhere.
Hmm.
Families had to stay together. They had to have that conversation.
That's true. It would either drive you closer together or drive you far apart. But we gonna pray. We're gonna pray that it drives y'all closer together. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so sometimes in those, what we also did was, get. I remember Curtis got a job. He got a job, and do you want to tell him?
Yeah, you can tell. Listen, I have no shame to my game.
He was
I've
a
done it.
telemarketer, y'all.
It
Say
was not
telemarketer.
It wasn't a telemarketer. I was a manager. I was a manager of a telemarketing. It wasn't telemarketing though. It was
okay.
it was
I don't know
like
what he did. I know he
educational.
said he was going to work. And I said,
Yeah,
okay.
I had a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah,
Well, it wasn't
9 to
even
5.
9 to 5. It was they had me working some crazy hours, and I was like, this is not for me. I was like,
But he did it.
but I did it. I did it because you have to make those sacrifices and trying to get things back in order. I mean, when you see that you're not making the money that you used to,
Mm-hmm.
you have to humble yourself.
Absolutely.
It's a very humbling experience. That's why I I believe, me personally, I remain humble in whatever it is that I'm doing because I know where I was
Mm-hmm.
and I know where I am now, and it's two totally different places. But to me, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. I'm still the same person who I was when I was making $20,000 a year, whether I'm making $200,000 a year. It doesn't make too much of a difference. And if you can keep that balance within your mindset, I think that is one of the major keys to you know helping yourself to come back from the situation.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. But get that extra job.
Yeah.
Get that extra job
If you
and
got
don't
to
be
work
too proud.
yeah, don't be too proud. If you got
At
to
the
work 2 jobs,
It is what it
it is
is.
what it is.
In order to build that capital as quickly as possible, because you want to get out of the space that you're in as quickly as
Mm.
possible. And, okay, so you get an extra job. Oh, okay. So at the time, Curtis did mention that we went through a foreclosure. It was supposed to be a short sale, but it ended up being a foreclosure because the bank refused to accept the short sale, which I still to this day I don't understand it.
No.
But it is what it is. I was sitting there helping people with short sales at the time, helping
Mhm.
them through the process. So I knew the process, I knew the paperwork, and I did it all.
Mhm.
So, but that's probably going to be in litigation. Who knows, years from now. But in any event, one of the things that we did decide to do was a lease to purchase.
Mhm.
So I would recommend that to someone who is in a situation where
Your credit
they
is messed up.
credit is messed up.
Yeah, because remember at that time when we foreclosed on that house, I
Mm,
mean we couldn't purchase anything outright for 4 years.
yep.
So we had to wait 4 years before our credit got back right. But luckily good we had a substantial nest egg still to the side because we started cutting costs ahead of time
Hmm.
before it dwindled completely away. And that's why I said, kind of go back to one of those first steps, what steps you take, how to reducing those expenses and
Right
knowing
away.
knowing to do it right away. Don't wait till, you got $100 left in the bank and say, oh well, woe is me, what am I gonna do? Because
Not a
now it's
hundred
too
dollars.
late.
You got $100 left in the bank. Now you're gonna talk about no.
Yeah.
That's not gonna work. I mean, that will work because let me tell you.
Hmm.
Listen, you could pay for a Uber down to the center that can give you some,
Hmm. Hmm.
money, some assistance.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not to say it won't work,
Hmm.
but just try to recognize it before it gets to that point.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that is again one of the major things is recognizing and knowing how to keep a track of where you are financially.
That is correct. No matter how well you seem to be doing. Okay. So the lease to purchase option did help us out. So that's what we ended up doing. And of course, that's the same house we're in now. And we love this house. And, it worked out. Wonderful thing about it is, and I'm going to give her a shout out, Letitia. She was my client that ended up saying, you know what? If you want to, lease to purchase it from me, then that's okay. Let's do this. So I appreciate her. We're still friends today. It just came. It was God's timing. All of it was God's timing. It worked out very well. So consider that if you can't purchase a home right now, think about lease to purchase options. There are options available where it's a lease to purchase. If you can't get one through a homeowner, there's a program called Home Partners
of America
that will allow you to purchase a home. They will buy the home cash for you. Okay, so you may want to consider that. Do you have a question?
Okay, yeah, we got a question over here. Well, let's see. It's I think it's Tressa. I did foreclose my first marriage. You just have to stay on track, pay bills, and I'm sitting in a lovely VA financed home. You got to do what you got to do and move on. Don't get stuck because of setbacks. You're right. God is my source when it's all said and done. Absolutely. Absolutely, Miss Wesson. God is definitely the source, but one thing I always want to tell people too, a lot of people know my faith and where my faith is, but don't be so faith. I hate to say, we get a lot of people who are just overwhelmed with where they say their faith is, and they just trust in and believe in God and are doing nothing. Faith without works is dead. So a lot of people say, I'm just going to trust the Lord and the Lord is going to bless me. And, yes, the Lord will bless you, but you have to make an effort.
Tread lightly, my friend. Tread lightly. Tread lightly,
yeah,
my
I don't want
friend.
to listen, if I step on your toes, just say ouch. What can I tell you? I don't know. I'm being truthful from my perspective, because in the relationship that I have with my Lord and Savior.
He always says that you always say that you're the politically correct one.
I try
think
to
those roles have reversed. I think I'm the more politically correct one, because you sometimes just go you just say what comes to your mind, don't you?
Well, I don't want to. I don't want people to put themselves in a bad situation.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so that is the whole reason for all of this. I don't want to see anyone put themselves in a bad situation. I've been in a bad situation, and I'm just trying to share the little bit of knowledge that I have of how I've gotten out of a bad situation and put myself back on solid ground. Yes. You can mess with sinking sand if you want, but I'm trying to tell you to stick to some high, rocky ground. So,
with that being said, Simone said he wants us to do our part with getting ahead of him. Without getting ahead of him.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, yes, that is just, we got to all do our part. We got to all do our part, and always remember that faith without works is dead.
It is. It is.
And vice versa. Yeah. Works without faith is dead too.
There you go. All right. Okay. Yeah, it can work. It definitely works in the verse. That ain't in the Bible, but it works that way. Yeah, listen, that is a principle.
Some things is just common sense, though.
Some things are common sense, but common sense is not common
to everyone.
It's not common to everybody.
Okay. So moving on. Now that you stabilize your income, hopefully at the point where you've done your cutbacks and you're not overflowing with cash, but you've just stabilized your income. You're back on some sort of track. Now you got to stick to it. You can't get happy and say,
yeah, now I'm going to go out and I'm going to eat out every night.
Yeah. I deserve this. I've been waiting so long because that I deserve, it could be a new car or it could be this, that I can deserve this can also lead you into a sticky situation as well. So you have to be careful. So you just got to stick to it. And as you stick to it, you'll just see yourself accumulating. And as you accumulate, just don't sit there and accumulate. Now, okay, look at some options that you can invest and make money, and it doesn't have to be big.
There's always some opportunity.
Always some opportunity. I had a friend tell me, this was a couple of months ago, that they took $100 and, put it into a stock and now it's doing so well. And that's all it takes. You don't have to put a lot, just sometimes it takes just a little bit to start even that feeling, that emotion going, that thing that says, I can do it. I can do it. So don't just have your money sit there either, unless it's sitting there for a certain cause or purpose, rather. Unless it's sitting there for a certain purpose, don't let it just sit there.
And now, what did you do that kept you accountable to yourself? As far as like, what did you put in front of you to keep that sense of where you want to go?
Well, everybody knows I put a vision board in front of me. I'm vision board out.
She's the vision board queen.
I am the vision board queen.
Yeah, she definitely she loves her vision boards.
I love looking at it. Sometimes my husband will say, "Well, what do you want?" And I need to tell him, just go look at my vision board. You see everything I want right there. Yeah. You don't need to, it's no surprise. I can tell you everything I want right there on that vision board. You don't have to look far. So I keep it in front of me to stay focused. And it's not something that I kind of dwell on either. Like, oh, if I don't have it in a year, I'm so disappointed in myself. No, it's coming. It's coming. If I want it bad enough, I could have it tomorrow. It's coming. So that's how I feel. But I want it. I want it with my own terms as well. I want it in a way that, okay, I'm going to work hard, but I'm not going to work hard to the extent of losing myself or my family in my work. So I have these, desires and stuff like that, but I also have them at my own terms on my own conditions.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Tressa says, hubby says many create lifestyles they can't afford instead of living within their means. Okay, yeah.
Absolutely. Because they're looking at you vacation.
Right. That's why I said
they think they can do
it. Don't focus on what other people are doing. You got to focus on your situation, where you are, and getting yourself to the place that you want to be.
Correct.
And like I was saying earlier, when I did a little, I don't know if you've seen it, I posted something today when I was on my way back home, just talking about joining us tonight for wealth building. And I said on there, like what my cup says, what my Yeti cup says, a life by design, not by default. I mean, because life is going to continue to happen. So you have to plan and prepare yourself.
Absolutely.
To create the life that you want. Don't worry about what other people are doing, what celebrities are doing, or so-called celebrities are doing. Worry about what it is that you want out of how you want your life to look, and work towards that. So it's like you kind of got to keep these blinders on. And
like the horse.
That's it. That's why horses, they put those blinders on them so they don't worry about no distractions. So don't let anything distract you from your goal.
Right. Right. And, there are times when, and this has worked for some people. They sit there and they'll take off, distractions like Facebook or social media. And remember, when you search something online, it keeps coming up on your feed too. So the advertisers are making you want things. They're making you want what they want you to buy from them.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you got to I don't delete my account and things like that. I know some people that do, they totally get off it. But what I would do is, you know, I just won't be on it.
Right.
I just won't
Yeah.
be on it because
Well,
if it's distracting where I need to go and what I need to do and where I need to be,
mm-hmm.
it's okay for me to not be on it and give it a break, but I can still pick it back up when I feel like it. And unfortunately, there are times when I miss a lot. Things are happening in people's lives that I don't get to comment on, but my sanity is a lot. Is what I need in order to continue.
Mm-hmm.
So think about your sanity. And one thing that Madison said the other day that was so true,
Mm-hmm.
she said that bold law. Don't judge.
Took the bold laws thing.
Let's see. Okay, give me a second. You talk in the meantime.
All right, I'll talk in the meantime. I don't know where all the list of bold laws. You usually have them posted up in your office here. Okay, you got it.
Hold on one second.
See, show the people, babe.
No,
oh, okay. You're trying to find the one what it said. Okay.
Yes.
While you look for that, and that's another part of the accountability. I mean, that's one of the things that since I got into real estate, especially with Keller Williams and being a part of Bold, I'll tell you that was definitely one of the key things that has helped kind of reshape your mindset. Okay,
right.
so
and we go over these bold laws,
mm-hmm.
Every morning, basically, in our meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So Madison's quote was, "Don't compare your insides to other people's outsides."
Mm-hmm.
So you got to watch it. Got to watch comparing yourself to others. It does you no good. They don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
and where you get your advice from as well. I mean, you want to get where you get your advice from means a lot. So that's why you surround yourself with peers that want to live at a high level as well.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You want to surround yourself with like-minded people who are going in the direction that you're trying to go.
Absolutely. Sharonda says, focus is powerful along with praying. And that was our next thing. Mm-hmm. We said here, all through it, you have to pray and believe.
Absolutely.
All through it. So that was the final word right there. So you hit it right on the money right there. So all through it, you have to pray and believe. Pray that it's going to get better. And it's only, just know it's a season that you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a lot of people right now coming out of that season. Even before the market started going up, I saw a lot of my past customers and stuff coming out of that season. Mm-hmm. And they were doing so well again. And now they have so much equity in their house. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like that 10 years ago or 15 years ago or whenever that happened. So it's a beautiful thing to see. So remember, it won't last because trouble don't last always, mm-hmm. as they say. And continue to pray. Does anybody have any questions for us?
Yeah, I was just trying to see what other comments came in. But I don't know. We're getting close to that. I can't believe that it's almost an hour already.
Wow.
But we're close to that mark. Again, as we talk about, how do you come back from setbacks? And a lot of people are facing all different types of setbacks. So you have to just develop a mindset as well. I'm big on mindset because how you think. Oh my gosh, now I'm mixing up my scriptures. How a man thinketh, so is he. Right. So how you think, that's where you will be. So that's why I'm very big on mindset, because if your mindset isn't there, you will definitely fall to, instead of that, let the setback be a comeback for you. Let it be a setup to get you, to propel you to the place where you need to go. And I think that's what I've taken with every challenge that has been, that has been thrown at me. Anything that that has been thrown at us, I try to make lemons. When life gives you lemons, make some lemonade. That's what they say. When life gives you lemons, make some lemonade. Look at the brighter side of things, and trust me, you will prevail. You'll be all right.
Absolutely.
Trouble doesn't last always.
No, absolutely. And what sparked this topic, in which we're probably going to get into it another time, because we're gonna
I gotta grab
talk
that book
about investment properties and flipping and things like that, as well. Because what sparked this topic was the fact that for a while there, when you've been hurt, when you've been burnt, you're very hesitant for the next deal. I know I was, I'm hesitant as it is. So, the next deal, the next investment, anything like that comes on, I want to be in that safe space, right? So it was a big leap of faith for us to go ahead and say, you know what, we can do it again. Let's go back. Let's jump back into the market again and do a flip and things like that. So that was powerful for me because fear is not stopping me. It's not stopping. I felt like I broke the chain of fear at that very point in time. When we signed the paperwork to sell that property, I feel like a lot of the fears or hesitation, and just know this, there are certain mistakes that I made the first time around that
we
I will not make again. And, this is why, I have to say I love you because, there are times when I think he blames me for everything, right? Something will happen. I think he's blaming me for everything. And I'm like, hey, it ain't me or whatever. We go back and forth. But during this whole time that we were on this call, Curtis took the, I'm not going to say the blame, but he took account and said, it was me. It's the man of the household, and how we were raised, the man of the household, making a lot of the major decisions, he took the responsibility and says, as the man of the household, I did not pay attention. And he did not blame me. So I got to give you a kiss for that later. So he did not blame me in any sense. And it's important. I was wondering
where this was going, y'all. I was listening closely. I'm like, oh Lord, okay, where are we going with this? But
if you have partners, it's important not to blame each other for things that happen in life. But you totally took the responsibility and said, you know what, I should have paid attention to what was going on. So what you have to say about that?
Thank you. I'm gonna keep it short. Keep it short and sweet. Thank you.
Oh gosh.
Keep it short and sweet. Okay. So on that note, where are we at? We're at
about a time.
Yes. Thank you, Lori. I see your comment there. Thank you so much. I do my best. I'm not perfect by any means. So and don't ever claim to be. I just do my best, and that's all I ask from my kids, and I try to give my best to other people so that I can see the best in them. I like to see people's best come out of them. I think that's what I have a real passion for, is seeing people at their best.
Yeah, that's true.
I like to see people at their best because I believe things are better for everybody when we're all doing well.
I like to see people win.
Yeah, that's it. That's your best, winning. I mean, because what is a win though? Because just because you're running a race, right? And the first person that crosses the finish line, they are the winner, correct? What about the guy that came in second place? What about the guy that came in third place? What about the guy, and it's not, please don't get me wrong, because I'm not big on, I forgot the term that they use, but just because you're a part of it, like awards, when they give you an award just because you were in it, just because you were a part of the team.
No, the winner is the winner.
The winner is the winner. But what I'm saying is that you have to give credit to people who are working towards it. You don't have to win the race because we're all in different races. You may be winning for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's
just being in the race, you're winning for yourself.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like marathons. That's why I like marathons so
hmm
much, because you don't always have to come in first to feel like you've won the race.
That's what I'm talking about. And I'm
Mhm.
talking about participation awards. That's what I was thinking.
Oh,
Yeah,
participate.
just because you're a participant doesn't make you, a winner, but you have to be actively and diligently going towards the mark. Like not just say, "Oh, I'm in the race and I'm trying to get a part of it." It don't work that way.
Right.
Okay.
I agree.
So you got to take some action for yourself.
That's it.
Okay. I mean, we've covered everything I believe that we
So,
had our notes on. Um, all I can say is get ready for your comeback. What are you going to do? Or is there anybody out there that has any setbacks that they feel that they, maybe need a little advice on? Like, what could we contribute to help you get out of the situation that you're in? Because I'll tell you right now, we're in a time right now where there are tons, hear me, tons of opportunities. So please take advantage of all of the opportunities that are out there right now. Whether it be
PPP, but
PPP
EIDL
loans.
targeted loans, they're
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
They just came out that the targeted loans they just gave away I think it's
I don't.
$2 billion.
Mhm.
So listen,
I
if
don't
you
know
were in
the
a
numbers.
targeted area and did not get your PPP loan or your I think it's too late for EIDL,
Mhm.
but if you did not get your PPP loan, you better get on that SBA website.
Well, but then you have to have a business, so that's
Yeah,
why
well, if you
I've
have a
always,
business,
if
of
you have a
course.
business,
Yeah.
but a lot of people don't know where to even start with starting a business. So that's one of the other things. So go back to one of our other tapes, and I can't even remember the quote now, but it was, oh my goodness, I never can remember this man's name, and I really like listening to him speak. Uh, Not Covey. Um,
I have no idea who you're talking
Oh my
about, y'all.
gosh. All right. Anyway, it'll come to me. I'll throw it up on the post. I can't think of the guy's name right at the moment. But
Not Les Brown.
no, not Les Brown. No.
Oh,
But that's the other thing. Like we were saying with the accountability. I mean, just to kind of recap over the night, because I don't see any questions or anything coming in. Identifying the problem was one of the things that we discussed tonight. Just to, like I said, to give a kind of quick uh, overview of what we were discussing. Identify the problem of find out what is the thing that's setting you back from getting to where you want to be. Uh, Seeing the thing that affects your finances, and utilizing certain tools. I tell people when it comes to budgeting, have those programs that help you manage your money. Quicken Money, all of these different. There's tons of softwares out there. I personally use Quicken. I live by Quicken. I've been using Quicken for 20 plus years and QuickBooks for my business. So I'm just comfortable using those two items. So that's how I manage my money. I know where my money's going and where it's not going. So so that's one of the first steps. And the steps that you take to reduce your expenses, making the sacrifices, cutting the cable bill, taking less vacations. Um, you
think
know,
about trading in your car.
yeah, think about trading in your car, even if you have to. Do whatever it takes. Don't be attached to things because things come and go, and you can always get them back if you work hard at it.
Correct.
You can definitely get those things back.
Absolutely.
When you get yourself more stable. So, and don't be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed to to talk to somebody. Find the right people to talk to help you get your life back on track because any of us are susceptible to getting knocked off track.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. It
you
could
know,
be a family member's health,
hmm
anything that can knock us off track unexpectedly. I don't care how much savings you have.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
any one of us is susceptible to it.
Yeah, and I mean, even since we're doing this though, and I would love to give your cousin Raymond a big shout out because he's a major contributor to us getting back on track as well.
That is correct.
Because when we were losing the house that we didn't want to lose, because that was one of our major income producing properties,
he was a part of our journey.
He was truly a part of our journey. Mm-hmm. You know, to have a family member be in a position, and that's, you know, that's one thing my dad always used to, I mean, it's kind of funny in a certain aspect, but he said the best thing you can do for broke people is don't be one of them. So that's why I'm telling you, you got to keep the right people in your circle. Right. So, you know, her cousin was he had just sold his business at the perfect timing, had some extra finances, gave me a substantial loan that I paid him back a lot extra, but hey, but I made it work. So, yeah. You know, but you have to do those type of things to come back from the situation of wherever you are if something is setting you back. So you got to make some sacrifices.
Absolutely.
Okay, she said that's what hubby says, Montressa. She said that's what hubby says. Yeah, you got to surround yourself with the right people. So I hope we, you know, gave a couple of good nuggets of information tonight. So you know, if I don't know why is it always that I get all these questions and stuff after the fact. Everybody always hits me up.
Because people watch the replay.
They watch the replay.
Right now,
well,
I guess
good.
a lot of people are having dinner and things like that, and they watch the replay. So we thank you for, you know, getting with us after. Mm-hmm. And if you think this video can help somebody else, please share it. Please share it.
Mm-hmm. It'll be on our YouTube page, the Grimes Group, Grimes Group FL. I don't even go to our page enough. The Grimes Group FL.com. You know, and we're here for
Grimes Group Florida.
The Grimes Group Florida. So we're here for you any way that we can. Like I said, we come to you on Wednesday nights live, you know, just with different little tidbits, different topics. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes we have a couple of guest speakers with us. So
the other week we had Tony Tate.
Yeah, the other week we had Tony Tate.
Quite a stir.
Yes, he did. I mean, I think that video has been shared numerous times.
Yes.
Discussing Bitcoin and you know, cryptocurrency. So that's another avenue to help build wealth. Yes. So that's all we're trying to do. We're trying to give you all the streets and avenues to get you to living your best life and having financial wealth and happiness. So absolutely. God bless you all. Thank you very much for joining us, and see you next Wednesday. See you next Wednesday.
Have a great night, people.
I don't know. Do we know what our topic is for next Wednesday?
Do you know what our topic is for next Wednesday?
I thought we had it laid out, but we'll give it to you throughout the week.
All right, you guys. Talk to you later. Have a great Wednesday evening. Bye-bye.